If you've ever seen to the very end of the credits of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, you know that he comes out in a bathrobe. He looks into the camera and he says, "You're still here? It's over. Go home." That's kind of how I feel about this channel. I am baffled and thrilled that there are many thousands of subscribers. In fact, many hundreds of thousands of views to these videos that we created, goodness, like 2 decades ago. I want to make some more stuff. And this is me reposting, and I'm dying to see what everyone wants. And I thought I would take a minute and tell a little bit about our story. Feels like this has been a one-sided relationship, and I'm really curious about you, because many of you spent a lot of time watching these videos that I think, looking back on them, well, they're a little slow. And you might recognize my voice, but you have not seen my face, and that's something that's changed in the last couple decades. So a big formative part of my story, I'm some guy that went to university for math and physics and ended up in software and ended up having this box of LabVIEW discs thrown at me. And a couple of years later, found myself in Mexico working underneath an automation machine just days before my wife's birthday, thinking, I'm not going to get home in time. And why am I trying to make this machine work? I'm just some software guy. And I think that story resonates with a lot of people who ended up being LabVIEW developers and system integrators. That was a pivotal moment for me, and that was when I knew I needed to get out of this world of automation and start doing something else. I found an opportunity to go teach at a college here in Toronto, which is where I'm based. I taught at this amazing college. I taught a LabVIEW course, of course, but I also taught project management, electronics, and a couple other things. And I took a huge, I don't mind saying this, there was a big change in pay from my 60 hours a week automation job to being a teacher. And all of the college profs in Ontario went on strike about 10 weeks into this life change. And so I looked around and kind of said, oh, okay, well, I guess it's time to try this entrepreneur thing. And I became a LabVIEW consultant, and that's when Enable Training and Consulting Inc., which was its name, was born. And I thought, well, I can do this LabVIEW stuff. Why don't I just buy a license, use my laptop, do some consulting? And that was really successful for a little while. And I loved, and don't tell my employees this, but there are moments when I reflect back on being a solopreneur with great joy. And I learned about this high school robotics competition called First Robotics. And if anyone has ever participated in that program or anything like it, you know the joy that comes from watching kids get excited about engineering and technology and cooperation. And as a LabVIEW guy and as an NI guy in 2008, we were a bit of a rare breed in this space. I sought out a high school team nearby to mentor, and I realized pretty quickly that nobody knew what LabVIEW was, and nobody could help these teachers, these kids to be successful. So I made a few training videos, and believe it or not, they went viral within this First Robotics ecosystem. It was very exciting. And I get a phone call one day from somebody from National Instruments, and I thought, oh my God, I've been a fan of NI for so long, but I really had no relationship with them, and got invited. I had this phone call. The call was, hey Ben, we keep getting thanked for our training videos at all of these regional competitions. We're not doing any training videos. Who are you? Come talk to us. And so I found myself in Atlanta at the World Championships amongst many tens of thousands of kids, many of whom recognized my voice, if you can believe it, fighting their way to using these compact Rios for the very first time, trying to figure out how to debug their LabVIEW stuff. And wow, that was just an amazing, amazing experience. And in that moment, realized, okay, there's a market here, an opportunity to not just be a LabVIEW programmer, but maybe I can help make training for more people. And that's kind of how Enable Education was formed out of Enable. And so, as that world progressed, we made more and more training videos for other businesses. We picked up Lego Education as a client. We did a little work for a bunch of other clients in that ecosystem, First Robotics. And we picked up the big guys, NI, as a client. And it was fascinating because by this point, I had actually created LabVIEW Mastery, and which you have now seen excerpts from. So LabVIEW Mastery was technically the first video-based training course for LabVIEW. And I built it. It was just me. That's why you're used to my, well, a decade ago, you listened to my voice. You saw me pretty slowly talking about how data flow goes from here to there. And I shot all that stuff, screen recorded with good old Camtasia Studio in my second bedroom, recording the audio myself, editing it myself. And that became this course. And we sold literally dozens of copies of that course to dozens of people. And I mean, what are you going to do? But what was really interesting was we did much better creating content like that as a service for other businesses. And creating that for NI themselves was fascinating and really cool. And in fact, a couple years later, we created NI's very first video-based training course. It was for Core 1, which I think it's still called Core 1. Certainly our content has been deprecated by now. But we created this content for them. And I had a team of about a dozen people working on that course over the span of about a year. And by the time it was ready to go live, I thought, you know what, we really need to take LabVIEW Mastery down. We need to take down our videos. Why should we compete with this product that we're making for NI that is more up-to-date, that is more interactive, that is more interesting? And so we took it down. But I didn't want to just throw it away, so I put it up on YouTube on this channel, excerpts from it, and I then totally forgot about it for the last 10 years. And one of my team members, Dean, thank you, was like, hey, Ben, did you know that Enable Eng Video, which is what it was called at the time, and maybe still be called, but we might change it. Do you know that there's some stuff there that's been watched more than 100,000 times? And I am shocked and kind of humbled and really ecstatic. And the number that is really amazing to me is that there are many tens of thousands of hours of learning that people have done for free on this YouTube channel. And the fact that some of you may still be here, and the fact that some of you may engage from here on out is very exciting to me. So thank you. Thank you for your patronage. And I'm really excited to see where we take things next. So let me just talk for a minute about what Enable is doing today. We still are a LabVIEW system integrator. We still are a LabVIEW NI is now part of Emerson System Integrators. And it's been fascinating to watch the transition. So my team, I still have certified LabVIEW architects who can kind of solve unique problems. We've got a real focus on vision and real time and other kind of cool things like that, and kind of large scale systems. We also still create learning for our clients. In fact, over the years, and I'll put a link below, we had an amazing case study, an amazing co-presentation with NI at a conference where we talked about the value of a long-term partnership in creating learning for your ecosystem. And it's something that I think NI has done incredibly well over the last years. And it's been something I've been really proud to be a part of. And Enable also, over the years, has evolved. And like many companies that, a decade or 2 decades ago were NI focused and LabVIEW only focused, we also do a whole bunch of other things. So I have a full stack web development team. We create video games now. I have a Unity development team. And most of what we do, not all of it, but most of what we do is around creating great learning experiences. So it's been my pleasure to have my career take these turns over the last little while. If this is of interest to you, great. Please engage. I'd love to connect. You can reach out to me directly. I'm very excited at the prospect of growing our ecosystem of partners and doing similar kinds of work for clients like NI or maybe clients like you. Here endeth the commercial. And tell me in the comments below what you'd like to see next. We can do more LabVIEW tutorials. We can evolve into other different ways. I'm really fascinated to see what you guys would like to see. Anyways, thank you and bye for now.